spring has arrived with a vengeance, and so it is hardcore propagation time. There is absolutely loads that you can be sowing at the moment. If you haven't got started with your seeds, don't panic, there's still plenty of time. If it makes you feel any better, I've got around 200 different types of seeds to sow this month at the trial garden. So don't worry, we'll all get there, it will be fine. The longer days and warmer temperatures at this time of year means that things grow much faster. So just because you haven't started yet doesn't mean that things won't catch up. It's nothing to worry about. So here is the full list of what you can sow this month. Buckle up, there's a lot to get through. April is the perfect time to get started with your squash and pumpkin seeds. Now these are a brilliant investment because what you're going to have is a lot of food that stores very easily all the way through winter. These guys are from last year, and as you can see, we've still got absolutely loads of them. So getting a load of these seeds in is going to mean you've got lots of food when there's not as much in the garden. Whether you're growing sweet corn or drying corn or a combination of the two, April is a great time to get your seeds started. These are really fast growing, so if you know that your last frost date is not going to be for a while, maybe wait towards the end of the month. The other thing to bear in mind is that you do not want drying corn and sweet corn to cross-pollinate, because if they do, your sweet corn is going to taste starchy and not very nice. So the best thing to do is to sow them at 2 to 3 week intervals to make sure that they flower at separate times. April's the time to get into the habit of succession sowing your carrots. Now this is a veg that you can pretty much be near enough eating year round, but it does mean that you have to be good about your succession sowing, and now's the time to get your first lot in. If you haven't started your tomatoes yet, April's the perfect time to get going. These are really fast growing, and with these longer days and warmer temperatures, they're going to take off really, really quickly. The other thing that you can start this month is storage tomatoes. Now these are a little different from your standard conventional tomatoes that you're used to. These have a weaker gene for self-ripening. What you're aiming for is to have your fruit fully formed by the end of the season, but not ripe yet. And once it is fully formed, you take the whole lot off the vine, and then you hang it up, or you wrap it in paper if it's a larger variety, and then you can store it into winter. And they will very gradually ripen through winter, meaning that you can actually be eating homegrown tomatoes on Christmas Day. April is bean sowing time. Now these are super fast growers, so you might want to wait more towards the end of the month before you sow them if your last frost date isn't for a while. But whether it's runner beans, broad beans, or French beans, now's a great time to get them in. It's a good month for courgette sowing as well. These are such easy to grow, productive plants, and they're brilliant for beginners. We've also got some dual purpose courgettes like these. These are jaune vert. Now this is from last season. Now this is a plant that you can either pick young and eat just like a courgette, but they have a slightly firmer texture when cooked, which some people actually really like, or you can store it and treat it just like a winter squash. Cucumbers do really well when started in April, and as you can see, ours are coming along nicely. Phasalis and tomatillos can both be started at this time of year. If you haven't tried them, I would highly recommend them both. You've still got time to sow your onions from seed this month, and onions started from seed are less inclined to bolt than the ones that are started from sets. If you haven't started your peppers, chilies and aubergines yet, this is your last chance. It's last chance saloon. If you don't start them this month, they are not going to have time to mature and they won't give you any fruit this year. So get going if you haven't done already. You can start your celeriac as well. This stuff's very much ready for some pricking out. It's a fantastic root crop and it makes the most amazing soup. If you're not already into the habit of succession sowing spring radishes, get going this month. These can give you food nearly year round, and with them being ready from seed to harvest in as little as 18 days, you can have a really abundant crop really easily, but you do have to remember to keep sowing them. Bulb fennel and herb fennel, both of which are well worth having, can both be sown at this time of year. You can get in your early calabrese and also your sprouting broccoli. Sprouting broccoli can take a really long time, so this is where you can get in your first crop for an early harvest. It's a good time to get in some artichokes as well. These are really easy to grow from seed, and you can see mine starting to pop up here. But it's a beautiful perennial plant and it's considered a luxury in the supermarket, so you're going to pay an awful lot for something that you could grow very easily from seed. Make sure you make an investment in your future Christmas dinner by getting some Brussels sprouts in. These, despite not being harvested until into next year, actually have to be sown really early on, so get going with your Brussels. If you're a fan of growing summer brassicas like your cabbages, your cauliflowers, your collard greens and that kind of thing, now's a good time to get started. Just remember that you need to select the more heat tolerant varieties. If you choose winter varieties and grow them in summer, they're going to bolt and you're not going to get what you want. You can start dahlias from seed as well at the moment. Now remember, this is a root crop. It might be the most beautiful root crop that you can possibly grow. I'd highly recommend getting some amaranth in. It's a fantastic future food. It's super drought tolerant. So if we have a hot summer, this is going to keep giving you spinach-like leaves all the way through the year. Plus, it's so beautiful that many people use it as a cut flower. So how good is that? Another one to get in now, ready for Christmas, is your parsnips. Now, parsnips theoretically can be sown from earlier in the season, but the trick of getting really good germination and strong initial growth is to sow them into some warmer soil. So April is a brilliant time to do this. Make sure that you're in a good habit of succession sowing your lettuce because you want to be able to eat this year round. And if you haven't done so already, you can still start peas now. Chard has to be one of my favourite crops. It's super reliable, super easy to grow, and it keeps cropping all the way through winter. Melons and watermelons can be sown this month. You might not think of growing these in the UK, but actually they can do really, really well. And if you have a greenhouse or polytunnel, you're pretty much guaranteed success. Oh my gourd! Yes, you can sow gourds now. So if you're a fan of growing a loofah, or if you haven't tried yet, I would highly recommend it. You can eat gourds young, a bit like you would a courgette, or if you let them fully mature, you're going to have something that you can dry, in this case, or you're going to have your loofah sponge, brilliant compostable washing up sponge. You can sow spinach this month as well. You want to get conventional spinach in as quickly as possible because once it gets hot, it's going to be inclined to bolt. But another really good option would be to try something like perennial spinach, this New Zealand spinach. It will give you food for years to come if you mulch it well in winter, and it will just come back. And don't forget to keep succession sowing your beetroot in April and on through the year. And will you be growing a mangel wurzel this season? If not, have a think about it because this is a fantastic crop. Obviously it gives you these enormous roots, but it also gives you an abundant leaf crop, similar to chard or perpetual spinach. And they sit for ages in the field. You don't have to harvest them at the end of the season. So you can leave them in the bed over winter and just harvest them as required. Herbs are another good one to get in this month. And this is a big investment in the future flavour of your food. Now you can grow a whole herb garden from seed, and it's actually really easy and a lot cheaper than buying the plants, which can be quite expensive. And growing from seed tends to give you more of an interesting selection of the herbs that you can grow. April is a great time to start getting your edible flowers in as well, and there can't be a much better edible flower or more useful one than sunflowers. There are so many different ways you can eat these guys, whether it's the seeds for snacking, you can grow those seeds for microgreens, you can eat the unopened flower buds even, like a globe artichoke. So this is a seriously useful plant to have in your garden, plus it's absolutely beautiful as well. Nasturtiums are another edible flower to get started this month, and they're super easy to grow because they do really well when you just push the seed directly into the soil where you want it to grow. And other edible flowers that you might want to think about getting started this month would be your marigolds, your calendulas, your breadseed poppies, your coxcomb, your viola, and your pansies.